this is Leah Whitehorse from Astrology with the forecast for January 2014, and I'd like to wish you all a very happy new year. January 2014 kicks off to a start with a powerful new moon on the first day of the year, with the new moon conjunct Pluto, square Uranus and Mars, and opposite Jupiter. There are conflicting elements at work. For the first 3 weeks of January, we have a cardinal grand cross in the skies. Uranus, Pluto, Mars, and Jupiter are all at odds with one another. And this is a prelude as to what's going to come in April later on this year, when these 4 planets align on the 13th degree of each of the signs: Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn. During January, this heady mix of aspects could be quite confrontational. With Mercury conjunct Pluto in the new moon chart, words carry more weight. Black moon Lilith is conjunct Jupiter as well, so a screaming match can ensue if anger, resentments, and jealousy is allowed to bubble over. It's important to work off excess energy and to think carefully before responding, especially in situations where there is conflict. There are 5 planets in Capricorn at the moment, so this earthy energy is asking you to keep going, keep pushing for the top. But this action is mediated by a need to carefully consider the power that you hold, signified by the new moon's conjunction to Pluto. With power comes responsibility. Generally, the new moon in Capricorn is a time to consider your goals. Capricorn is hard-working and dutiful, so this may be a time when you need to tough it out to do what needs to be done. But this new moon is also sextile to Chiron, so you have a chance to work through the pain, and this can teach you a great deal about what you perceive to be your limits and also your levels of endurance. Look to the house where the new moon occurs in your own chart. This is an area of life that requires work. You may be called upon to do your duty, to take on more responsibility, to show humility, or to take action against inequality, and to consider what empowers you and where you think you hold power or how you use power. Minor planet Pallas turns retrograde on the 6th of January. Pallas was born from the head of Zeus in full armor. Now, while she isn't afraid to go into battle if necessary, her greatest skill is in diplomacy, negotiation, and strategy. Turning retrograde in Virgo, Pallas encourages a reconsideration of what's working and what isn't. If you are feeling like life is more of a battle than you intended, it may be necessary to change your strategy. In the sign of Virgo, Pallas may be asking you to take a look at the fine print and to check the details again. Mercury enters Aquarius on the 11th of January. Hopefully by now, if you've been putting the work in, the Capricorn work in, you will have started to get a better view of how far you've come. Aquarius is bright and breezy and forward-thinking. You may feel as though you want some headspace to blow away the winter cobwebs, so plan a day or even just an afternoon away from your routine. Alternatively, this can be an excellent time to exchange ideas with friends and to network. New contacts bring new ideas and a different perspective, which is what Mercury and Aquarius needs. It's a time to think outside of the box. The full moon in Cancer occurs on the 16th of January. With the moon as ruler of this sign, it can feel like an emotional high. And just to compound this even more, the full moon is conjunct asteroid Varuna and also black moon Lilith. Varuna is the name of a Hindu god of the water element, so he rules the seas and the celestial ocean. Black moon Lilith is a dark goddess of instinctual response and magic, but she can also bring up issues where we feel rejected and exiled. So powerful emotions are close to the surface with this lunation. The difficulty is that this full moon is opposite to Venus, So we may feel like it's inappropriate to express how we are feeling for fear of spoiling the atmosphere or upsetting a loved one. Perhaps with Venus retrograde in Capricorn, others may just seem too busy with other responsibilities to stop and listen. Luckily, this moon has an anchor in the form of a trine to Saturn in Scorpio. The trick then is to accept how you're feeling, acknowledge your emotions. Know that you don't have to act upon them, just surrender to them. Welcome them even. Go with your inner flow. By doing this, you will find that you regain some sense of stability by understanding yourself. The moon is about learning to take care of yourself, learning how to be a gentle mother to yourself. Thankfully, this emotional tide settles as the sun moves into Aquarius on the 20th of January. You may find you can breathe more easily and feel more objective about problems and concerns. Ruled by quirky Uranus, the sun's transit through this sign urges you to let your freak flag fly. There's only one of you in the world. You are unique. You are special. Don't be afraid to be yourself. When the sun is in Aquarius, it's the perfect time to consider changes you want to make in your life. Free up time and space to do something different. Liberate yourself from what you think you should do and consider, what do I want to do? The future is wide open with possibilities. The very end of January sees some of the main cosmic action. Firstly, we have the second new moon on the 30th of January, and this new moon is in Aquarius. So it's perfect for planting the seeds of changes you've been considering whilst Mercury and the Sun have entered this sign. The new moon is sextile to Uranus and quincunx to Jupiter. With Uranus in the picture, this just accentuates the themes of Aquarius, which I've already mentioned, such as expressing your true self, accepting difference, giving yourself some space to get your head together, and initiating new projects. But the big message here is to get out of your own way. The aspects to Uranus and Jupiter suggest that if you can do this, if you can take the unknown path, then you might just land on your feet. With the quincunx in play, watch for synchronistic signals from the universe because they act like signposts along your path. The new moon chart also captures the big opposition between Jupiter and Pluto, which perfects on the following day, which is the 31st of January. This is an aspect to watch. Jupiter is ever the optimist and believes that faith will carry him through. Pluto, however, is driven by sheer willpower. Faith alone cannot be the only thing that carries you forwards. You need drive and a fixed focus on what you want to achieve so that you don't crumble when the pressure is on. In the wider world, this aspect could bring up issues connected to the distribution of wealth and power. And with Jupiter connected to the clergy, religious clashes are possible. Back in our own personal lives, caution is advised because Jupiter opposite Pluto can bring out judgmental attitudes and some fanatical beliefs. Pluto insists on the truth, so it can burst Jupiter's bubble if beliefs have strayed too far from what is truly possible. Used wisely, this is a transformative aspect that can dramatically change things for the better, provided we can let go of the need to be right. Mercury also enters Pisces on the 31st of January. There is a push to rely less on logical thinking and more on intuitive response. The trouble is that Mercury is in detriment in this sign, so thinking may be confused. And as Jupiter is the co-ruler of Pisces and currently opposite Pluto, old fears may rise up from the depths to haunt you. You may feel uncomfortable not knowing what's happening and why. With Mercury in Pisces, it can help to find some time for silence so that you can listen to what's happening around you and tune into those subtle impressions. It's all about the subtext, body language, and subliminal messages. It's about putting your logical left brain on hold so that you can hear how the right brain is trying to communicate and what it's trying to tell you. For the creative people amongst you, this can be an inspiring time as the imagination goes into overdrive. So it's great for artistic projects. But everyone can gain something from engaging in their creativity. Paint, draw, take photographs, go to an art gallery, listen to music. These things speak to us on a different level. They say a picture speaks 1,000 words, and Victor Hugo said that music expresses that which cannot be said and which it is impossible to silence. Lastly, Venus, goddess of love and harmony, also stations direct on the 31st of January, so it really is a big day in the cosmic calendar. Now that Venus is direct, we can start to put our relationships back on track again. If money's been tight, you may notice a small increase, which gives you some encouragement. Likewise, if your social life has been a little flat, now would be a good time to start taking up on those invitations. It takes a little while for Venus to find her feet again, but the change of direction should release the pressure as we move into February. This month, for the card of the month, I chose the Gilded Tarot, and the card that came out after shuffling was the World card, which is quite a beautiful rendition of the World card here. So as you can see on the card, it shows this acrobat who is very poised and very strong. She's standing upon light, so light is flowing up from beneath her. She seems to be dancing with the stars because the sun is behind her, the moon is above her, we can see the stars in the sky. Now, interestingly enough, the World card is connected to the planet Saturn. So this card is really calling back all the emphasis on Capricorn that occurs at the beginning of the month when we have the 5 planets and the new moon in Capricorn. So here we're being reminded that yes, Saturn is hard work. The Capricorn energy is hard work, but what we get from that hard work is achievement and a sense of fulfillment where we feel on top of the world. So even if this month feels like an endurance test, it's worth pushing it because you should feel pretty happy with yourself by the end of the month.